My wife posted online, finally leaving my controlling husband for my true soulmate. I tapped the like button. Then I shut down her company cards and had the office locks replaced. Her soulmate vanished the moment the money dried up. I was sitting in my office late on a Thursday night, working through quarterly reports, when her announcement appeared on my phone. Astrid, my wife of 8 years, had just told the world, very dramatically, that she was leaving me for a guy named Ronan. According to her, she'd spent years being suppressed, and he was the only one who recognized her brilliance. Comments poured in immediately. Her yoga crowd praised her courage. Her sister, Desiree, called me a textbook controlling husband. I read the whole thing again, shrugged, and hit like. 30 seconds later, Astrid texted me. "Did you seriously just like my post about leaving you?"
Yep.
"Good for you. When will you be moving out?" She typed and erased for a solid 5 minutes before replying that she'd come grab her things the next day and that she deserved half the business. I ignored that part and turned my attention to our company accounts. What she never seemed to grasp was that the business was mine long before she entered the picture. She only joined after we married, and even then, her role was mostly decorative. She handled social posts and the occasional flyer. I managed the actual client work, negotiations, budgets, everything that kept us alive. Still, I'd given her a title, a salary, credit cards, office access. I even let her bring Ronan in as a consultant. That aged well. Within an hour, I'd canceled her cards, changed all passwords, removed her access from every system, scheduled the locks to be changed first thing in the morning, and sent clients a restructuring notice that politely omitted her existence. Then I went home and slept peacefully. By dawn, my phone was full of angry texts, first about her cards being declined, then long voice-to-text monologues accusing me of financial abuse. My favorite line: "Ronan says this is illegal. You can't cut off my income stream." Income stream? She hadn't brought in a client in years. The next morning, she and Ronan arrived at the office with a U-Haul, only to find the new locks already installed. While I worked inside, she yelled and pounded on the door until security arrived. When she insisted she was co-owner, security reminded her only my name was on the lease. I called out from my desk. "According to your post, not for long." Ronan attempted to posture, but it was hard to take him seriously with his man bun and 5 feet 7 inches frame. Her personal items were boxed in the lobby. Everything else belonged to the business. She hurled the boxes at the door, screaming that she wanted her company. She was escorted out. The following day, she tried to lure away our biggest client, claiming she was the genius behind all our campaigns. They called me confused, wondering why she was implying she owned my business. I explained she wasn't well and asked them not to engage. They didn't argue. Apparently, they'd always suspected she didn't do much. The next day, my banker called. Astrid had tried to access the business account in person, then attempted to take out a loan using the company's EIN. It was flagged as fraud. That afternoon, she emailed me an invoice: 3 years of unpaid creative direction, emotional labor, brand development, and lost future earnings. Over $1 million in total. I sent her my own invoice tallying her salary, personal credit card charges, and the money she funneled to Ronan. According to my math, she owed me. She blocked my number. Meanwhile, Ronan's apartment became her new nest. She kept posting about how love doesn't require comfort, while drinking cheap gas station coffee in a cramped studio. She insisted they were building a future. Reality disagreed. She started job hunting. A neighbor business owner told me she had presented 5 Instagram posts and a single food truck flyer as her portfolio. Ronan, meanwhile, tried to pitch himself as a life coach with an online certificate he'd gotten days earlier. Vendors started calling me, angry about unpaid orders she placed while promising she'd take over soon. One printer asked about business cards she had ordered identifying herself as CEO. I told them to bill her directly. On day 5, she filed for spousal support, claiming I'd forced her into unpaid labor. My attorney laughed out loud. We had years of pay stubs and evidence she never built anything. The company was a premarital asset. She had zero claim. Then Ronan's ex reached out. She warned me he had a long history of living off women. He owed her thousands. Another ex had even tried to sue him. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. A week in, Astrid showed up at my house with her sister and a police officer, trying to claim I was withholding her belongings. The officer looked exhausted from the start. She'd already moved in with Ronan, so she wasn't being locked out of anything. I let them in to retrieve her personal items. She tried to take electronics, appliances, anything she liked. I produced receipts from before our marriage. When she attempted to take my grandmother's china, I told her no. She threw it against the wall, shattering the entire set. The officer promptly arrested her. Her parents bailed her out. She went right back to social media, telling everyone I'd kept her in financial captivity. As she spiraled, I received a message from a woman showing screenshots of Ronan's active Tinder profile. He was dating other women while living with Astrid. He even took one woman to a fancy restaurant. My friend who bartended there said Ronan's card declined multiple times, and the woman ended up paying. Astrid applied to a dozen marketing jobs. No one called her back. She started a GoFundMe claiming I'd ruined her life. It collected $45. LinkedIn request. Her profile claimed she had been CEO of my company for 5 years. I screenshot it, sent it to my lawyer, reported it, and blocked her. Life is calm now. My business is thriving. I'm seeing someone who actually brings her own success to the table. And I have a new set of dinnerware that I actually use. If you're ever trapped dealing with an ex who thinks they're entitled to what they didn't help build, keep records of everything, refuse to feed the chaos, and let reality do the heavy lifting. It always does. And Astrid, because I know you still lurk on my profiles, Ronan's new girlfriend just posted vacation photos from Cabo. Looks like he finally found someone to support him. Too bad it wasn't you. Things got even sadder. She set up a folding table in the building lobby with a handwritten sign claiming she was the real talent behind my agency, attempting to poach clients as they walked in. One of them asked if she was the person responsible for a typo that had cost them a reprint. She blamed the printer and said the misspelling was French-inspired. Security removed her. Later that day, Ronan called me. He said Astrid was struggling and suggested I give her some kind of severance out of kindness. I told him he was only asking because his rent was due. He deflated immediately. Apparently, Astrid had told him she had savings, owned half the business, and would fund their life. He'd finally realized she had lied to him just as thoroughly as she'd lied to everyone else. Eventually, she was hit with a cease and desist for her online rants. The legal process wrapped up quickly. Minor charge for property destruction, divorce finalized, minimal temporary support. No business claims granted. Then came the final twist. Ronan texted one of his exes trying to rekindle things, 3 days after Astrid learned she'd be getting only $1,200 a month. The ex forwarded the screenshots to Astrid, who finally called me sobbing at 2 a.m. She admitted Ronan had drained the last of her savings after convincing her to put him on her bank account. When she asked if I could help her financially, I told her no. She blamed me for her situation. I reminded her she'd publicly left me for a soulmate who turned out to be a scammer. She eventually moved back in with her parents. Last I heard, she was selling essential oils with her sister and calling herself a boss babe. Her online following dwindled. Ronan vanished and reappeared in another state with a new girlfriend, apparently one who owned a small business. My own life stabilized beautifully. The business grew. I hired a competent creative director. Clients were happier. My lawyer framed the cease and desist because the whole fiasco amused him greatly. Yesterday, Astrid sent me a